What is going on, YouTube? Wanted to make a video for you guys. I've actually made a lot of changes to my system. I made them about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, but been trying to make some decisions on lighting and stuff, so I was holding off, and then the LEDs that I was going to use actually turned out to suck. This is one of them. This is by Mod My Toys. It comes with like a little, I don't know what you would call it, but it basically holds the LED in place, and then you can mount it somewhere in your system. And yeah, but they really turned out to suck, so I decided to not even use them. But anyway, the changes that I've made here are, as you can see, obviously I've changed the entire color scheme. Before, my color scheme was a light blue and dark blue with black, and I've changed that basically to just all black and red. Using the same fans, I actually held on to the Corsair rings from, when I originally bought these fans, so I just had to swap those out, which is cool that they provided that, because that would have been like another, I don't even know how much money to replace, 6 fans. But anyway, the motherboard previously was a P8Z77-V from Asus, and I changed that to a Asus Maximus Hero. It's the 1150 board. Also changed the CPU, obviously, from a 2600K to the 4770K. It's been a good processor, I guess. The one I got isn't all that great for overclocking. That could be due to the, infancy of the Maximus Hero's BIOS. But right now I'm basically just running it at stock, which kind of sucks. I was really only able to get it to 4.2 stable, and to me that's not even worth overvolting it or doing any of that for 300 megahertz. I would much rather have it be 100% stable and lose 300 megahertz. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm hoping that the BIOS updates will change that. So I was having a lot of problems with my old motherboard, and I was actually going to go to a Gigabyte board. But then I saw this board. It was an ROG board for like 220 bucks, and generally I don't like to spend more than $200 on a motherboard. I would rather put that money elsewhere, but I've had really good luck with ROG boards in the past. I actually had an ROG board before they did the red and black color scheme. I forgot the name of it, but it was an awesome board. It lasted me like 3 or 4 years, and I never had any issues with it. So once I saw that they were offering a cheaper ROG board, I jumped on it right away, despite the fact that I would pretty much have to change a lot of the aesthetics of the build, which wasn't that big of a deal in the end. Another significant change is the PSU. I was previously using a HX860i. It was a good power supply. It was only partially modular. I wanted to go to something a little bit more efficient, a little higher rating. This is pretty much the cream of the crop, the AXI series. It's all digital. It's an awesome power supply. It's super quiet, fully modular. I'm very happy with it so far. I actually got a really good deal on it on Amazon, so that kind of sealed it for me. So I grabbed that up. Moving on, the major reason I actually took my build apart and was to add a drainage system and a fill port. So as you can see right up here, you can see where the fill port is. It goes up to the top, and then there's the hole right here. This is just a bulkhead I got off Performance PCs like I get everything else. This hole wasn't really a big issue to drill. I did have issues with the other one, but that was mainly my fault. This aluminum on the Merlin Case Labs case is really easy to work with. It's a really, as far as drilling goes, so I had no problems with that. Down here, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but you can see right here where this fitting used to just go straight up and connect into my reservoir. I actually added a T fitting right here. Man, the lighting is really bad. I actually added a T fitting right there, which splits off into a 90-degree fitting, which goes up to the reservoir. And then on the other side of the T fitting, it actually runs straight down. And then you can see back there, it runs behind the reservoir, or not the reservoir, the radiator, and the power supply goes back behind the power supply and comes out in the back right here. And this is a Koolance quick disconnect. Like I said though, drilling this hole was a huge pain in the ass, because if you can see right here, there's this bracket for the power supply. And what I had to do basically was drill a hole right here and then grind with a Dremel tool, grind away this part of the bracket. So yeah, that took like 4 hours, and I was, you know, psycho about not screwing it up. But in the end, it worked out really well. You know, it's always good to get some drilling practice. But anyway, so how this basically works is I have another tube, which I don't have right here right now, but with the other end of the quick disconnect. So when it is time to actually drain the loop, all I have to do is basically put a bucket, you know, down on the ground, and then just connect this tube in there. And then once that tube is into the bucket, then just unscrew the top of it. Fill port was, you know, I really like having the fill port now, because if you can see right here, there's not much room, and it was kind of difficult to get my hand in here and unscrew it and stuff. So I'm really happy that I have both the fill and the drain port, because, well, also because when I had to drain this thing with no drainage system, it was a nightmare. Luckily I didn't get any fluid on anything, but you know, getting basically what I had to do was unscrew this completely and then kind of tip it over into a bucket, and then you know, I had all the power supply and stuff out at the time, and basically had to unscrew this, and then, you know, it was just, I got coolant, you know, all on the bottom of my case, and it was a pain in the ass. So I'm really happy that I have that now. Take you guys around back. This cable management. I did remove one of my SSDs. So before I actually had a 60 gigabyte Intel SSD, and then this Corsair FORCE 120 gig, and then my Caviar Black 1 terabyte. I was, you know, when I originally got them, my idea was I was going to put Windows on the 60 gig and then run some games off the 120, and then, you know, put everything else onto the 1 terabyte drive. But that didn't work out all that well. The 60 gig wasn't really enough for Windows. Windows uses a lot of space, especially with all the updates, Windows 7. So basically what I did is just completely removed the 60 gig and then put Windows on this SSD right here, and then running the games and stuff off the Western Digital 1 terabyte Black, which, by the way, is a super fast drive. You know, it's not as quick as an SSD, but I highly recommend them. They're a little noisy, but they are super fast for a, you know, a mechanical hard drive. Also, I changed obviously had to change out the cables. So rather than going with red, I just went with black, so they kind of blend in a little bit better. I pretty much did all the same thing. You know, I cleaned up some of the cabling back here with all the fans and stuff. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is another reason I decided to go with the Maximus Hero is, at the time, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is going to be a super popular board, you know? And I really wanted, you know, one of the shortcomings of you know, the P8Z77-V is that they made no voltage reg blocks for them. You know, you could get kind of, you know, universal ones, but I didn't really want to go with that. So as soon as this board arrived, you know, I was looking online and EK announced that they're going to be making water blocks for the VRM, so I'm really excited about that. You know, I knew that they were going to, because this board should be super popular. You know, a $220 ROG board, you know, it's got the Blackwing chokes and all the high quality capacitors that you get with an ROG board. It's been a great board so far. I haven't had any issues with it besides the overclocking thing, which I think is just a BIOS issue. Hopefully it is. But it could also be just I have a bad chip. You know, you play that lottery every time you buy a chip. So, you know, I'm not going to be too disappointed if I can't get a huge overclock on it. You know, I do like running my system super quiet, which is the benefit of having a water cooling system, which is often overlooked, that, you know, if you don't overclock them, you can run them, you know, I can run this thing almost silent, you know, having 6 fans. The water block is also different. That's the 380i. The I stands for Intel. It's a much better CPU block. It's got much better flow than the one I was using before, which I believe was the 370. This one's all solid copper and nickel. I think it looks a lot better. It really goes with the aesthetic of the build. If you can kind of see that the video cards here have the silver with the black, and then the RAM block has the silver and the black. Actually, on the motherboard has silver and black, and then now this is silver and black, which is something I didn't even realize until I got it, how good it actually looked. So yeah, I know I covered a lot there. I hope I didn't miss anything. Oh, I also wanted to mention that I'm using distilled water with Mayhem's red dye. Much cheaper than buying coolant, and I'm actually getting better temperatures with the distilled water. So yeah, the distilled water is like $1 for a gallon at Walgreens, and that's much cheaper than like 14 bucks for 700 milliliters. So yeah. So thanks for checking this out, guys. I'm really happy with the aesthetics of the build. EK is supposed to release those VRM blocks for the VRMs at the end of July, so I'm gonna check out those and possibly put those in and get rid of this RAM block, which is basically just there for aesthetic appeal anyway, and I would much rather have, you know, water over the voltage regs. So yeah. So thanks for checking out my video, guys. If you got any questions, just leave them in the comments. I love answering them. So yeah, take it easy.